Jenny informed that they are okay, and Rovon went to sleep early as he have class tomorrow. You asked her to check him up time to time in case. You don't need to worry about them, as Kim mentioned have many guards and maids that unknown people couldn't enter freely. Furthermore, there is your brother, and you don't have to worry about it. And he can also stay safe at school, as teachers will not let him go to some strangers. After hanging call, you came back to watch and found that man had sat back in his place. The moment you came out, he stared at you with his hot gaze. It annoyed you. It seemed that this person really didn't know what trouble he had caused, why the hell he had to go blind date with such a scary woman and came to provoke you. It's fine as long as they didn't involve you, but now it felt that the danger was everywhere. You have to worry about your son and family. This had developed to this instant, so you decided to have a good talk with him today. You took initiative to walk and sat in front of him. John Jungkook, let's talk. It's rare for your tone to be so pliant, but he had very bad feeling. He pursed his lips. If you want to push me to someone else, then there is nothing to talk about between us. He turned his head away unhappily. When did I say these things? Then what do you want to talk to me about? Talk about you and Kim Dayon. He frowned. Are you trying to push me away? You sighed deep. I just want to tell you that she hates me now. Although you are injured, I'm not. So she will continue to think of all kind of way to take her grudge against me. Finally, he understand your worry. Since when did you become so afraid of death? Your thoughts were interrupted by him, and you looked at him firmly. There is not such a sarcasm in his voice, but it's hurtful. I'm not afraid of death. I'm just afraid to affecting people around you, especially Rovun. Thus, you want to tell him to handle Kim Dayon's matter well. Just you can't tell him the exact reason. Then what you gonna say now? Okay, just think that I'm afraid of pain. Don't wanna attack by acid again. I don't want to be stabbed. It's that simple. You felt that your hand was held by a large one, giving his warmth. I will not let you hurt. Didn't I blocked it last time? Didn't it make it clear that I will not let you hurt again? You frowned. Then what are you going to do? Believe me, once again, the woman was too dangerous. She had been hiding with police and using family's power to protect herself from being catched. The moment constable catch her, she yelled at them and tried to free herself. The person who had witnessed and got injured by this woman will be giving their statement. Jenny already collected all the evidence she needed for beforehand. Thine was captured and put behind the bar. She was directly detained, but if she wanted to be convicted, she still had to go court. It's the case of acid attack. Officers are doing their job as well. Minho hired the best lawyer in the country. Seeing Jungkook like this, you also hope that court will increase Thaun's punishment. You can't feel sorry for criminal. Days pass just like that. You keep going and coming to hospital, company and police station, making sure that everything is going on the track. Jungkook's injuries was serious, but as the day passed and the doctor and nurse care under your gaze, he is doing fine, even though he is recommended to meet dermatologists after discharge from hospital in case if this scar will have any cure. But the burned skin will still leave the ugly scar behind. You felt very bad for him. It had been 2 weeks, his injuries improving slowly. Nurse treated his wound and let you know the further process. Likewise, you almost became his personal nurse. You keep staring at his back for a good 5 minutes. If you really care about it, you can stay by my side and accompany me. Just treat it as atonement. His teasing voice came stunning you. He gave you a side glance. You glare at him. Isn't this person taking too much advantage of his wound? No, you deny that fast. He raised his brow. The trial will begin in a few days. What do you think about it? Want to increase her punishment? When you mentioned about it, the warmth in his eyes disappeared and replaced with endless coldness. Even the smile on his lips had a touch of viciousness. So what? She dared to hurt my beloved women. She have to pay the price, the women he loved. Your heart became restless. You pretend to be unhurt, and instead, she is your blind date, young and a lovely girl. Do you really have the heart to do this? He turned to look at your face seriously. Other than you, no one else is important to me. What about the person who introduced you to the blind date? And the sentence successfully made him stunned. You faintly smiled. I had guessed that you went on blind dates, not by your own, but you couldn't reject the person who arranged blind dates for you, right? It's Dr. Lee that I met back then, am I right? Well, he couldn't help but raised his brow, and the lips curled up slowly into a beautiful arc. He low and hoarsened his voice in a purpose. You have become much smarter than I imagined. You rolled your eyes. You had always been very smart. You bit the lower lips and looked at him more firmly. It's not like Dr. Lee will introduce you with anyone. She must have taken fancy on this girl and wanted to pair both of you. Do you still want to send her to court? Yes, send her to court. He didn't hesitate to answer. Your lips parted slightly, but what to say? You didn't expect him to be so decisive, but your eyes met his and it started to tremble. Why? We have not divorced yet, so you don't have to call aunt so unfamiliarly. She's your aunt too. You stood up and walked to other side, crossing your arms. Did you tell your aunt about this? He shook his head. No. You narrowed your brows. Then what if your aunt knows? He raised his brow. What does it have to do with you, whether she knows or not? His gaze was filled with affection for the women he loved. You bite your lips, somehow mad. You think I care about you? Then you think too much. I just don't want to implicate you. You stopped talking and saw his burning gazes. Did this man even believe in you? You sighed. In short, as the one who almost became victim, I suggest you to tell your aunt about this matter. Of course, it's up to you whether you listen or not. Madam has already given the order. Why wouldn't I listen? The smile on his lips became more obvious. He looked like he deserved to be beaten up, but you suppressed it and closed your eyes tightly. You scoffed and ignored him. Although he had said he still didn't want to tell June about this matter. She is the one who forced him to go to blind dates. He have his own thoughts. How can he just let go the person who tried to hurt his beloved women? It's not like that. He can't deal with it. He wanted to protect his women and he can cross any boundaries for the love of his life. She didn't expect situation turn into this extent. She thought that this girl could be able to melt this ice mountain. She had thought many possibilities between two men and women, but suddenly she received the call from Mrs. Kim. All she heard was heart-wrenching cry of mother. June was irritated by her friend at first. She was a ruthless person to be honest, and she didn't serve the person to hear their whine and cry. But Mrs. Kim is her close friend, and she needed to deal with it. John Jungkook, you're so done. At hospital, he is left alone at the ward. He's sitting there with his phone, displaying WeChat surface and the profile picture of this particular woman. He is checking each details that can have your whereabouts, even the mention of your name. He is having his good time, stalking his women's social activities. There is moment of WeChat that you had shared with your friends and their teammates in the overseas. It's all about artwork and design. There is pictures catch his attention. The The picture of yours that your friend had captured it for you, standing beside the sea, wearing white dress, looking so surreal. It was so beautiful that it didn't resemble the human world, smiling purely, so petite, so beautiful, so cute, and looking all angelic. His eyes are filled with love, and his lips curled up to the warm smile. Oof, this woman. The more I look at her, the more I like her. His actions were little childish as he zoomed the picture and gently poked your cheek and said in a low voice, "Stupid woman." The man who was standing guard at the side was speechless. Minho couldn't help but wanted to scoff at this stubborn man. Why he even applied for this job at the first place? Why it's so cringy? Or remember, boy, this damn job have prince price and freaking high position in the big company. Maybe Minho's expression was obvious that Jungkook looked up to shot his murderous look to innocent man. Minho felt chill and straightened his posture. I didn't saw anything. His mouth twitched. Why he need to explain? Jungkook sneered and raised his brow. Get out. Minho immediately nodded and went outside, but unfortunately someone bumped him almost throwing to the wall. It was this fast that he couldn't react at the time, but then, young master, be careful. The man holding his phone was so into it that it's so late to give his reaction when he got one punch that landed him on the floor with his phone thrown to the side with the sound of cracking. How dare you bully the girl? Minho was froze on the spot. After good seconds, he widened his eyes. He rushed towards Jungkook. Are you okay? Even though he had been recuperating these few days, but he still injured badly. How could he be flipped by light punch from women? Well, don't underestimate. In an instant, his handsome face was turned into pale. Looking great in pain, a layer of cold sweat appeared on his forehead. Minho immediately helped Jungkook to sit. I will go and call the doctor. Minho rushed out. Only then June sensed something was wrong and squinted her eyes and stared at him seriously. You were injured. He raised his eyes, looking weak. What do you think, little aunt? She was stunned. Where are you hurt? Let me see. He stood up, ignoring her, and picked up his phone. The screen was broken, but it's still functioning. Jiun vaguely saw a figure on his phone screen. It's a clearly girl's picture. Who's that? Jungkook put his phone away. What are you doing here? There is no welcome atmosphere at all. His tone was like he don't want to see his aunt at that moment. Don't think that I won't do anything just because you are injured. What kind of expression is that? Your aunt came all the way from Busan. Is that all you have? He still remained his cold aura. Then what do you want me to look like? You threw your injured nephew to the ground the moment you came and even broke my phone. What do you think I should do to you? She felt wrong, but thinking about what Mrs. Kim told about her daughter forcing to go behind the bar, she felt that beating him up was light. One punch and you fell. When did you become so weak? You still have the nerve to blame me. When did I become so weak? I still have to ask aunt about the good person you introduced. June raised her brow. Person I introduced? Why are your face so pale? Where is your injury? Let me take a look first. It's merely women who had left him years ago. How could he still thinking that she will come back to him? It's all what June have known and wanted her nephew to move on. Of course, Mrs. Kim didn't exactly told June the exact reason that her daughter was sent to the prison, so it bring misunderstood between aunt and nephew, and both of them bickered there for the matter. One look like came to denounce and other is ice cold. Later, June felt that her nephew will not be unreasonable. Even he is, but law is fair. They won't send innocent to the court. Mrs. Kim's cry made her upset. Indeed, and she also felt that Jungkook was too impulsive. How will she give face to the Mrs. Kim later on? They have known each other for so long. Jungkook didn't bother to explain anything to Jiyoon, and Jiyoon didn't force him to say, after all, she is here now and she have plenty of time to know. Looking, both having psychological battle, Minho resisted the urge to roll his eyes. After a while, Minho decided to be a good person and walked inside. That, little aunt, why don't we go out first? I will tell you matter. Even though he didn't know much about condition, he had seen Jungkook's injuries and he don't have to guess hard what had happened that day. That works too. June nodded and was about to follow Minho. Where are you going? They stopped and looked back at the man. Young master, aunt came from Busan along the way. If you don't want to talk about matter, then I will let her know. Jungkook raised his brow and gave a sharp gaze to Minho. When did you make decision for me? Okay, I won't get involved. I will go out. He didn't want to stay here. He was also a person with a temper, okay? He went out and ward quietened down. Nurse came to see him and there is no problem on it now. Jiyoon felt strange. Why Jungkook didn't let Minho to explain? Jungkook had been fiddling with his phone. It was probably because screen was broken and he can't see picture clearly. That made him irritated. Suddenly he shouted, "Leave Minho." Minho didn't left but just stay outside. When he was being called, he couldn't pretend to not hear. Yes, young master, a phone, take it and fix it now. Jungkook passed the phone to Minho. Minho had no choice but to do as told. Okay, gonna fix it first. Give it back to me in 30 minutes. No problem. He's that fast and left the ward quickly. Ward fell into silence once again. Jiyoon took a deep breath. Lee Minho is not here now. Let's talk about matter. Mrs. Kim called me to say that you bullied the young girl. I don't exactly know what conflict caused between you two, but she is still girl. And sending her go the coach, what reputation she will be in the future, it's something that he have to worry about for her. If she cared about her own reputation, then why would she keep acid to attack others? What will happen to the victim? What if she is beautiful and precious daughter of a family? Beauty is waste when beholder have no taste. Criminal is criminal. They don't think about anyone's. They just know how to harm others. A hint of ridicule appears in his eyes and the lips spell the viciousness. So what? She almost hurt his women. He still had to settle score with her. His endless cold eyes and merciless look shocked Jeon. This man is not always this heartless. After his mother died, it seemed he doesn't care about anything until he met this woman. Just tell me, what exactly did Hyun do to you to hate her so much? Know the difference between hating a person and hating what a person did. Jungkook have no intention to explain it to her, and Minho left the ward, so she have no way to know what had happened. It made her anger to the depth, but she can do nothing when her nephew is this emotionless. Ward's doctor was suddenly pushed open. Jungkook frowned. Didn't Minho want to fix his phone just now? Why he came back again? When he raised his head, he happened to saw a figure studying him and Jeon. Jungkook's pupils shrank, and Jeon's face turned expressionless. It was mess. Jungkook stood up with a swoosh. Why she's here? What a mess.